Come on.
We are live.
We live, baby.
We are
Yeah.
live. Welcome back to Moses Square Podcast Live Edition. I am Lauren. I got the TV on also.
Yeah.
Um, but welcome back, everyone. We took a little time off, some vacation, some just being busy. But we're back. And
Yeah.
how
And
you
Lauren been doing
feeling?
her own show, so she don't even introduce her boy no more. But
Oh,
I'm Desmond
gosh.
Moses. It's your boy,
I did not
Moses
introduce
Square.
you.
It's all out. She been doing her vlog. If
My
y'all ain't catch
bad.
it, tune in. Catch sis. She, giving an
Yes.
insight on the career moves. She had some amazing guests this past week. I got to catch up. So if you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, go ahead and
Go check out
lock in.
yes, go check out my Instagram page, Lauren period Brielle the two E's. I definitely did not I don't know what I was thinking, but I did intro you, but you guys know who he is. It's
Yeah.
the man, your boy, Des. But we're
Yeah.
back and a lot has been going on. I mean, I think the last time we caught up, it was towards the end of the NCAA tournament. As we
Yeah.
know, Kansas got the chip on the men's side, and South Carolina got it on the women's side. You're,
Yeah, we
you're,
knew South Carolina was going to do it,
yeah,
but I wasn't rooting for Kansas. I've had this conversation probably one too many times, but they
yeah.
they did it. We gotta give them props when do they pulled it off. My Kansians.
You
I'm
just
I'm
didn't
over
want to
here.
hear. I was gonna say you just didn't want to hear
That's all.
all the talk.
I ain't want to hear it, but they
And
did it. So shout out to them.
Villanova. I was gonna say Villanova. They act like they was gonna do a little something something, but they couldn't make a
Yeah,
shake when it came down to
and
it.
nah, they wasn't quite ready.
Yeah.
But shout out to Kansas. They did the thing. Rock chalk, hawk, all that stuff.
and
Shout out to them.
and for the women, Dawn Staley they went up against
Yeah.
UConn, and UConn was 11-0 in national championship games. Now Gino Auriemma is no longer undefeated in championship games, and
Mm.
Dawn Staley is now undefeated in championship games. She's only 2-0 so far, but her star player got almost every single National Player of the Year award that there is
As she should have.
possible.
As she should have.
And that's just dope. I mean, she worked for it. She earned it. 20 plus double doubles consecutive at that.
Huh.
It's quite insane. But she put in the work, so it was due for sure.
Yeah. But honestly, Lauren, we're talking about college national championships, girls and guys. But right now, the hot topic, everybody's tuned in right now, and actually the game going on right now. But the NBA playoffs, and we're
Yeah.
obviously big fans of basketball. We got a long history in basketball and a long love. Ball is life in Jersey and in our household for sure. Growing up. So let's talk a little bit about it because we got a couple surprises. One of them being the game that's going on right now. The Brooklyn Nets are down 3-0 to the Celtics, the Boston Celtics. What is your take? Because I
We
don't
might
think anybody thought this.
Well, what I'm gonna say, we might have to rewind. If you might want to stop this video if y'all watching and go back to 2 episodes ago when I think we brought up the Nets and how they were gonna be if Kyrie plays, if he can't play anymore. Now the protocols are off. He can play
Hmm.
at home. He can play
Hmm.
away. But I always said from the beginning when we still didn't know if he was gonna be able to play at home during the playoffs, was that they would not get in a rhythm.
No.
They've never been in a rhythm. And I saw a stat yesterday saying that Kyrie has never played more than 60 or 70 games within a season. And
Mm.
he's a vet.
Bet.
So it's
Bet. And
like, and he complained about it in his press conference, post game conference, saying, it's going to take some time for them to get rhythm. But it's like, y'all are in the playoffs. There ain't no time.
Ain't no time.
And
Ain't no time for that.
this could have been avoided. So am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. You have a Celtics team who has been binding together since week
Hmm.
one of this season, and then you have a Nets team who has dealt with injuries, dealt with trades, dealt with COVID. So no, I'm not surprised, but I think it'll
Well,
be a lesson.
yeah, I think it's a lesson, but the part that I'm least surprised about is the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
We had a conversation. If y'all go back about 3, 4 episodes ago, I talked about a young light skinned assassin that was coming on. He was part of my top five. And Lauren said, "Yeah, isn't it a little too soon? Jason Tatum, he just." I said, "No, he got that look in his eye. If
Yeah.
y'all seen this brother during this series,
Yeah.
he got that look. He's grown 3 inches since he's been in the NBA. He's improved on his skill set. Um, Jalen Brown, who is his sidekick, his Batman, and I guess you should say his Robin because he's probably Batman.
Mm-hmm.
But these two young cats, they lost a heartbreaking series last year in the NBA playoffs, and they're back.
Yeah.
They're back. They're back for vengeance. And they're making KD and Kyrie look like the second tier duo, if you ask
So I have
me.
a question for you then, since you brought that up. Sorry, I'm just trying to
Yeah,
plug us in right here on Instagram. But because you brought up Kyrie, I mean, and
yeah.
KD,
Hmm.
a question was put out there into the interweb today.
Hmm.
Is Jason Tatum better than KD? Because
Yes.
that's your boy. Oh, okay.
No, no hezzy. And this is why. Right now, Jason Tatum has the ability offensively to affect the game and take over the game, just like KD does, right?
Mm-hmm.
But defensively,
Mm,
Jason Tatum is taking the challenge. He's taking KD on late in the games when it's really mattered, and Jason Tatum is making KD look like a mere mortal. I mean, KD, I believe, went 1 for 10 or 1 for 11
yeah.
last game, fourth quarter, when you generally see him come alive. So I'm giving the edge to the young gun. He has the size, the length, the jumper, the range. He can shoot it for the mid range, shoot it from three, get to the basket at will. And, that increase of height, those 3 inches have really made his jumper almost unblockable, kind of like we've seen KD over the years. But
Mm-hmm.
then you add in the strength. This brother is probably 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds heavier than Kevin Durant, who's a
Yeah.
10, 11-year vet. I think it's time for KD to start hitting them push-ups again. He gotta, we let him off the hook on the strength and has it affected his game? It has. Now we're
Yeah.
seeing a better version, and I really didn't hesitate to say that, but we're watching in front of our eyes. We're seeing the changing of the guards.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum is one of the top players in the NBA and definitely a top five guy.
Okay. I
Yeah,
can't debate it. I'm not gonna debate it. He's shown and he's proven himself for sure.
yeah.
And I don't think I necessarily like didn't see this potential or see this within him because we saw it. We've been
Mhm.
seeing it for a couple years now. But he is definitely hitting his stride and he
Yeah,
is leading his team.
100%. And he's a great young leader. We don't hear
Mm-hmm.
about the off court. We don't hear about all of the things that Brooklyn has
Yep.
going on within their organization,
And
within their teams.
even when the Celtics did have drama in their locker room,
Yeah.
last season. And I don't even know if it was this season too, but I know last season for sure. Um, some players kind of complaining about ball being in someone's hands for too long. You
Hmm.
never saw him comment on it. It would
No.
be Marcus Smart. It would be his Robin.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good point as well because we always talk about leadership and how we were leaders during our playing days, but
Yeah.
it's more than just in a game. Like you can
And the
lead in
chemistry.
life. Yeah,
The chemistry is there, and
yeah,
and the leader is the gel.
yeah,
Not to harp on that series. We got a couple other good ones that's going on right now.
yeah.
Jazz, Mavericks, they're tied 2-2. We got some young stars in that series.
Glad to see Luca back too.
Yeah. Yeah, who do you think's gonna pull it out? Do you think Luka can get it done versus young Donovan Mitchell? Because I really like that Donovan Mitchell.
I do love.
He's like a young
I
D Wade.
like. I know it's crazy because going into the series before it even started, I had the Mavs
Hmm.
winning.
Okay.
But I think Donovan Mitchell is gonna pull it out. I think that he has this this mentality where he can really
Sure.
just get into the zone, and he doesn't do it like it's crazy because throughout the season I was like. I ain't heard that much about Donovan Mitchell. I'm not seeing too many tapes about him. But it's like when he really wants to get in his bag, it's so
Yeah.
hard to stop him.
I mean, he does play in Utah. They're not one of the larger
Well,
markets, which is unfortunate because we don't
yeah,
get to
but they
see
didn't
too
have a
much
bad
of them.
season. They
No,
didn't.
no.
They was winning games. It's just it's same thing. Not same thing, but it's similar to how when we talk about Giannis, when he's
Hmm.
putting up the numbers that he's putting up,
Yeah,
and he's just being a freak. But it's like who he is, but
yeah,
sometimes it could come off as a quiet night for him.
yeah.
So I think that
Another
Donovan,
small market also.
yeah, I think Donovan Mitchell also has those quiet nights. But I think he'll pull it out. I think the Jazz will pull it out this round.
Jazz, you got the Jazz. I don't
Yeah,
know. I've been going back and forth on this one. I really, Luca's one of those guys. I think he's really coming into his own. This cat's only, I think he's 22 or 20.
he's
I mean,
young.
Luca
Yeah.
is young. He's been in the year. It seems like he's been around for 5, 6 years.
Well,
But
yeah,
this guy,
because he came over when he was 18 or 19.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a young player, but just his style. He has um, he gives me a magic feel. He gives me the magic. He has the
Crazy. I've
ability
been
to
watching
pass.
Winning Time this whole
Yeah.
all day. It's crazy you just said that.
Honestly, I mean, this brother is 6'6", 6'7". I
Hmm.
think it's hard to even really respect the height and the size of this cat with the skill set that he has because he looks so methodical the way that he moves. He puts guys on his hips, the step back. I mean, he can walk it to the basket and dunk on cats.
Yeah.
But a 6'6", 6'7" point guard with every single skill in his bag, but that jumper is wet. I like
Only
I
I
like
think the
Luca.
only reason why I have Jazz winning is because of that injury to Luca, and I feel like he's not fully healed, and he might have some. I don't know. I don't want to put no bad luck on the young brother, but
Yeah,
I don't think that he's healed from that injury.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm
But
still taking Luke in the series. I am.
okay,
I know you got
okay,
Donovan.
yeah, yeah,
We'll
yeah.
see how this one plays out.
But moving along, there's a series that is kind of upsetting my spirit.
What's that?
The
Which one?
Hawks and the Heat. I
Why is that? What
because
you surprised about?
I'm sorry. I mean, I get it now that I, as an analyst, like I get why the Heat are having so much success. But Trey Young is just being stopped, and I don't like that. I don't like watching him when he cannot get his. From a
He
fan's
looks little.
perspective.
He looked little. You know what I'm saying? He's obviously he has an amazing skill set as well. The handle, the ability to create a shot. But it's when you're going against guys that are 3, 4, 5 inches taller than you and 30, 40 pounds heavier than you, game in and game out, it takes a toll. And that's the difference between the playoffs and the regular season is you're not getting different matchups. You're getting whoever the other team game plans and throws at
Hmm.
you, and it makes it tough because Miami has an array of tough
Yo,
defenders.
I saw one clip, three different
Tough,
defenders guarding him at the top of the key. They all just
tough.
switched. And it's like and they're all, like you said, 6, 7 inches taller than this dude.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I was upset is similar to, the Celtics success now is that they have these core players that I would have thought would have been clicking by now. So if,
Okay.
Trey isn't getting the ball in his hands as often, like you're able to run things that don't go to him. Like there should be other players I think that should be stepping up, and they did have another player that stepped up. DeAndre Hunter scored 24 points in their last game, which is huge. He's
Mm-hmm.
also a UVA alum, so shout out to
Yeah,
him.
I know. I know.
And he won a national championship with us, so got to give him
That he
credit
did.
for that. But the next highest scorer was Kevin Knox,
Yeah, it's tough.
12 points. So it's like I just would have expected them to not have to rely so heavily on Trey Young at this point when they have all been playing together for 3 years now.
Yeah, you know what? But this is what I like about Miami. They got a bunch of selfless guys. Obviously, the Jimmy Butler is their leader. He's averaging 30 in the playoffs. But they got guys like Tyler Hero, uh, Tucker,
Capella.
um, Capella, Robinson. These different guys, even Kyle Lowry. These
Yeah.
guys can all have big nights, but they don't fold and they don't pout when they don't have a big night. They understand that
Except for
it's
when
the
they got in
process.
that fight in the bench.
Yeah, yeah.
But it seemed like
Somebody
ever
almost put
since
hands on
then,
Butler.
I know. But I feel like, sometimes you need that.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes you really do. It's a spark. I think deep down they really love each other. They understand that there's a spirit of competitor
Yeah.
within all of them, and I think they were able to turn the page. Where a lot of teams, if they weren't actually close knit, it would have been an issue. But for Miami,
Yeah.
I think they took that as a
And
spark and
coach
they taken off.
Yeah, and Coach Eric Spoelstra said it, like he was asked so many times about that debacle on the bench, and he's like, "Yep, we're gonna go to practice tomorrow.
Right.
Like
And,
we'll be fine."
Sport looked like he was with the. He looked like he was with the business too. Though I ain't gonna lie, he ain't back down. Hold on, let me find out.
He
Sport got
def-
hands,
nah,
man.
it was I hear when LeBron steps on the court in your locker room and on your organization, things get a little different. So I feel like once he done got through
Yeah,
LeBron, he could go. He's fine with anything. He's with it. Okay.
he tough skin. I like it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another series that's really surprising. The number one seed in the West, the the Suns, and the playing team. I guess you could say, you can call them an 8th seed or a 10th seed, 9th seed, wherever they came in
Yeah.
at. But the New Orleans Pelicans, without Zion,
Without
they're playing with
Zion,
some
they're playing
heart.
with heart. Finally.
Heart.
Finally, though. But, like, that's like, sometimes it takes you playing a top rank opponent just to see them
Sure.
fall. Because let's be real, the Pelicans, they're not about to win it all. But to be able to take down the best team throughout this season, for sure, was huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. But I think it starts with them being selfless. You don't see the ball staying in one person's hands for way too long. And they're hitting the hot person. Whoever is on, they're hitting that person. So I say kudos to them, but the Suns going to pull it out.
No. Honestly, I don't. I'm going with the Pelicans.
Oh,
I think I
goodness.
think the I think the Pelicans got the Suns' heart. CP3, he's been known to be chippy. Some would call him a dirty player. These young brothers don't care about no CP3.
They don't.
They like, oh man, if you want box, we'll take it in the back. If not, let's ball. And I think that
It's
they
hard
got
to.
some young rookies
I
that are
know
balling.
I know it's hard to put my heart behind a team that has never been consistent up until this point. Like, that's what blows my mind. That is what absolutely blows my mind.
Hey, sometimes it's about being a hot team,
At the right
and
time.
they got a rookie in Alvarado who's the heart and soul. He's a Brooklyn kid.
Plays
They got
great
a they got a
defense.
yeah they got another second round pick. Um, Jones. I mean, this cat is playing with a whole bunch of heart and athleticism, and then they have their stars. They have the McCollums who can score, get his own shot off at any time, as well as Brandon Ingram, he's looking like the old KD. He's creating
Yes.
shots and leading his team with a real toughness, not that fake tough, real tough. And
Yeah.
I like him. I
Yeah.
like him. I got some connections to the NOLA, so I'm rooting for the Pelicans. I'm
Okay.
calling it Pelicans is 6.
Last but not least, well, are they last? I don't
No,
even
I
know.
think
No, we
there's
got two
I think
more.
there's one more series. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I was talking about Timberwolves and Memphis. This has been
yeah,
by far the most entertaining for me because we
electrifying,
got electrified. Yeah, because we got
high
Philly,
flying.
but they're just so much. Both of these teams are so fun to watch. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously we have Ja, who hasn't been super hot these past two games, but for the Timberwolves, we've seen something that they said they've had all along, but the
yeah.
numbers are finally adding up for them. Cat
He playing like kitty cat.
playing, but that's the crazy thing. All the big name players aren't playing great, but the role players are.
Yeah. But this is my thing, and I got to speak on Cat. He's a Jersey guy. I always root for them, but we got to be critical when it's time. Cat, he's doing too much complaining, too much theatrics. The flailing of the arms, the looking around. It's like, look, it's playoff time. All of that aside, it doesn't matter. It's time to ball. And the stars are doing it. The Anthony Edwards, he's my guy right now. I've been watching Anthony Edwards since high school. Brother
Yeah,
gives me, again, OKD feels ability to get to the basket, raise
yeah,
up and knock down jumper, shoot the three, will posterize you and
yeah.
your mother. It's I mean he's a different type of confident, and I just don't know if he can do it by himself. I think Cat's going to have to step up for them to pull this series out. But I wouldn't be upset at all if Memphis won.
Yeah,
John and boys was
yeah. I
excited.
was gonna say I want Memphis to win, especially because Desmond Bain, he's pulled up every time they needed
Yeah,
him to. Every time Ja's off, he has had a great night. He had
yeah,
34 points, 8 for 12 in their last game. But like I said, they have other players who aren't big names. Dylan Brooks, who also stepped up. But what do you attribute to Cat's iffiness, like kitty cat? Like
lack
what is that?
lack of focus. I mean, the intensity. It's just if you watch him, it's every call, it's every move that he doesn't make. It's once you get to the playoffs, you have to get a special type of focus and remove all of those distractions.
Yeah,
You know, he kissing his girl after the game on the sideline. He looking at, he want to celebrate and
he does want to
almost
react.
antagonize the refs. Like,
Yeah, he wants a reaction to. He wants to react to
everything.
everything. Yeah, I see
Don't do
that
it.
for
It's
sure.
wasted energy. It's wasted energy. You got to put that into the game. and into playing your best game. And right now, I think it's going to be a maturation thing for him
Mm-hmm.
because right now he looks like a low IQ player for a vet and supposed starter he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
He's playing like a young blood. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
way around it. No
Interesting.
way around it. Yeah,
Well,
we got one more series though. Our boy, my boy,
I was gonna say, get that right. But you know
Yanni.
what? But you know what's interesting though, because I didn't watch him as much throughout the regular season, but
Who's
I
that?
watched Giannis.
Okay,
I watched
you
him.
better watch it, Yanni. He playing basketball the right way now, kid.
No, trust me, I know. But his numbers are
Unbelievable.
ridiculous,
Yeah,
and it's like, and
video
he
game.
looks like he's not exerting that much effort.
Because he's not. It's light. Because he's playing against chumps in his mind. In his mind, he's not playing against real guys. They all chumps.
Crazy. I think they'll pull this out, no doubt, 100%.
Yeah,
Bulls though, they've had some moments. I will say that they're like a highlight team to me. I
yeah,
think this year they actually did hit their stride and they did find some camaraderie to get to this point. But in the playoffs, they just seem like they have really good highlights, but not the best.
yeah. I mean, you gotta also consider the Bucks. They're coming off a championship. They're defending
Yeah,
champions.
yeah,
But Giannis is locked in. Even Middleton with him out, Giannis is averaging just under 28 points, 14 and a half rebounds, and 2 blocks.
yeah. Grayson Allen stepped up. Uh oh.
Like
You paused.
in 34 minutes.
Say that again. I'm sorry, you paused.
Yeah, in 34 minutes, this cat is averaging 27 and a half, 14 and a half, and 2 blocks. It's just he's playing at a different speed and a different intensity. And for me, I love to watch him. They can't stop him. Brother can Euro from the 3 point line, but he's getting his team going. I mean, he's getting his team going. I think they're really going to miss PJ Tucker, but it looks like Grayson, the
He
kid,
from Duke, yeah.
when they need to.
Yeah. And
I like.
their defense has been solid too.
Yeah,
The Bulls only shooting 38%, 25 from the 3-point line.
yeah,
Like they're getting, well, DeMar Rosen going to show up obviously, but Zach LaVine just hasn't been as consistent as he was during the
right,
regular season. So, and then they have Caruso out too for the Bulls.
right.
Um,
Dealing
don't
with
know
an
when
injury.
don't know when he's returning. I did see a tweet today that he is in concussion protocols. So if you've ever been there, which I have been multiple times,
Hmm.
you gotta pass a lot of tests. So good lucks to that man. But yeah, NBA playoffs. It's been fun. It really has been fun. And you know what? I was just every time I turn on a game, I'm like, please don't be a blowout. Just please don't be a blowout. Like I'm holding on to every game for some reason. But I'm also have a question about the amount of games.
Hmm.
I was having a conversation with someone and we were talking about how we wish that the first round was 5.
Right.
How do you feel
I get
about
it.
that?
I get it. I think they're trying to obviously for the ratings. The NBA loves it. The more
Yeah.
games, the better. Um, they probably expect a few sweeps as well. Um, so that'll cut
I
down on the
just feel
amount
like
of
with
games.
the extended amount of weeks within the season
Hmm.
and the play-in, it's
Hmm.
like it feels like sometimes it's being dragged out.
Hmm. I'm enjoying it. I mean, this is basketball. Unfortunately for the NBA, because they play so many regular season games, we don't see this level of intensity
Yeah,
from these guys, and
that's true.
playoff really gives us a chance to see the chumps from the other guys. The chumps from the champs, for lack of better words, because
Yeah,
we all know those players and have played with those players who are nice when the pressure's off. And then we
yeah,
know those players that step it up and are ballers when the pressure's on. And for me, that's what makes a great player who can really get it done. The difference between the Giannis's and the kitty cats.
yeah. You in this word is gonna be so funny. All right, let's wrap it up. So because we were gone, I know I have been watching some things, especially because I work from home.
Yeah.
Tuning in also while I'm working. So it's more so background noise than anything. But what have you been watching? I know you're a reader as well. So if there are any
Yeah.
new books that you're into, what you been checking out?
Honestly, I'm gonna tell you about an experience I had. It was actually I went to church the other day.
Hmm.
Um, evangelistic center here in Kansas City, and they just had a word. It was talking about just the effects of the internet, and how we have not only us as adults but kids have so many different resources, and effects that these resources can have on what you believe,
Mm.
can have on not only the Bible but faith, and just in general. We've talked about it before, the distractions of the internet and social media, and just filtering that stuff. But essentially, they had a trial of the Bible, and one side was supposed to be a defendant, and other side a prosecutor. People are now challenging the Bible and saying, "Oh, well, you know, is this stuff real? Is it man made? Was it written?" And essentially, the pastor's response was, "These stories within the Bible, yes, they give example, and yes, they give testimony, but it's time for us as Christians, young brothers and sisters, to share our stories, because people now more than ever, they want evidence. They
Mm.
want to understand, is this real, and why? What did he do for you?"
Mhm.
And we have to be able to not only communicate the Bible and represent it, but we also have to be an example, be
You have to live
accountable,
it.
and share our stories.
Yeah.
And I can always tell you, I had to go up against the University of Iowa. That's always my go-to. I say I wasn't supposed to do what I did, but it was written. God had written it and had made a plan that was greater than mine. I couldn't have made it up better than what it was.
Mhm.
So, just throughout life, I just encourage you and our viewers who, are believers, to share your experiences, share your stories, your testimony, because that's what's going to make people believe.
Mhm.
And I know for sure He's got us realer than ever. I dealt with something this past week where I was like, "Lord, you gotta take this one over, because I don't know." Like,
Yeah.
I'm not in that situation too much where I just don't feel like I don't know, but I was finding myself losing sleep, and
Yeah.
I had to let go and let God deal with it. And in less than 24 hours, it was handled, and
Yeah.
we rocking and rolling. So, long story short, tell your testimony, let them feel it, and be real. This is a different time. We can't sugarcoat it. We can't, even with our children, we can't say just because I said so.
Mm.
Do it because I said so. No, you got to
Yeah.
give proof,
Yeah.
and the proof is in the pudding. So that's what I've been on.
That
But what
is
about you, Lo?
that is interesting, and they're very different
Yeah.
from the options that I put down. I was just,
Okay.
I've been watching Winning Time here on HBO Max. But it's funny that you talk about sharing your testimonies, because I actually
Yeah.
did get into a new podcast called Know for Sure,
Okay.
and it literally, and while I say that, it's KNOW for sure,
Hmm.
not like no, like NO.
Okay.
And it's centered around the things that these two friends, what they know is for sure. Like, I know
Hmm.
that God is for sure. I know that my relationship with my family is for sure. Things like that. And they
Right.
always break it up to, what do they know for sure? Like, what is for sure? And then what is a no for sure in
Mm.
your life.
Okay.
And I have appreciated, because it's coming from a perspective of women who are in their 30s and who have already
Okay.
experienced a lot of the things that I'm experiencing now in my 20s. And it's just been a really good reference. And like, some things that I've already started realizing or noticing in my life, when it comes to my career, when it comes to advocating for myself,
Hmm.
and when it comes to being a friend as well, because these are two friends who have been friends for 20 years now.
Okay.
And then also things that I want in, my future and in my relationship, and how do I make sure that my word for the year is alignment. So how do I make sure that I myself am aligning with the words and the intentions that I want for my future? And so just being more intentional about my words and my actions lining up,
Yeah.
is really what that podcast has taught me. But yeah, show wise, Winning Time on HBO Max is my thing right now.
Yeah. And I'm putting you on the spot. Give us an example, Lo, for the viewers that haven't watched this, know for sure podcast or haven't
Mm-hmm.
heard of it. Give us just something that you've implemented in your life. And it doesn't have to be too personal, but it can be
Yeah.
something uh, that you can give a direct example of. This is what I've taken. This is one of the things I've taken from these women.
Well, I think something that I was already doing before, but I feel like
Hmm.
it was one of those things when you're already doing it and then you hear somebody else talk about it. It's like, wow, I'm doing the right thing. It was kind
Right.
of that, something like that. But it's just my
Okay.
affirmations, my daily
Okay.
affirmations. I've always kind of add things that I want in my life. It started with my career, wanting to work full time in sports was something that I put in my affirmations years ago. That
Sure.
that happen. But it's not just about that happening, it's about the work that I put in to make it happen. And so a lot of people get weird about affirmations because, it's like, who are you calling on for this? And I always call on God in my
Right.
affirmations.
Right.
And so the whole being more intentional about that and not just saying it, but actually believing it when I say it is something that
Right.
I have taken from them, because I follow these two women as well, and so it's not like what they say on their podcast is just there. Like, it's throughout their brand. And so I want my affirmations. I want want people to know what I stand for throughout my brand, which is why I started the Lowdown with Lauren on Instagram.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah,
Yep.
and to wrap it up, that's a beautiful message. In a world full of haters and pessimists, it starts with faith. You got to believe in you
Yeah.
first. Nobody gonna believe until you get it done. Then they'll say, "I told you so. I knew you would."
Period.
Moses Squared Up Podcast. Appreciate y'all tuning in. It's your
Yes.
boy Desmond Moses and my sister Lauren Moses. We'll catch y'all
God
next week.
bless.
Love.